in the team. And let's start with the agenda. What we're going to see today is a quick overview about what's Event Grid, what are the new features that we are providing in the service. We have push delivery, pull delivery, the MQTT broker is something new that maybe you will discover today, and the recent announcements. This is part of the agenda. Event Grid. What is Event Grid? In general, Event Grid is an elastic pops-up message broker. In the past, we were focused just only in push delivery. This is one of the common patterns that you may see when we talk about event-driven. But now we have been evolving the service. In these scenarios, we will see in this diagram that we have support to multiple protocols and multiple messaging patterns. It means that now we can support push and pull. And with pull delivery, we are opening new scenarios that we will talk later. As you may know, Event Grid has multiple resources. Is at some point we have many resources that were created to satisfy a particular use case. We have system topic, custom topics, domains, partner topics. All this is a family of the Event Grid in the past was a family. And one thing that we are doing today is that we are consolidating all these resources as the basic tier. And what you are going to hear more about basic tier because we are introducing a new resource that is part of a new capability and a new tier. Event Grid Basic is almost everything that you have been using in the past with Event Grid. You have been consuming events from a particular storage, from a system source, from your custom applications. You have been doing filtering, delivery retry, that lettering. You have been using functions or webhooks for your own applications. So in general, this is what we have in the past with Event Grid. But now with Event Grid, we have been developing or re-engineering the broker to offer more. And what we want to offer in this new resource that is the Event Grid namespace. First of all, let me explain what is an Event Grid namespace. Event Grid namespace is a logical container for multiple and flexible topics where you can create multiple and flexible subscriptions too. And this is interesting because in the past, we just have one resource, one particular subscription type, and now we can create more things in each one of the topics and the subscriptions. For example, if you see the topology that we have here, we have eventing, that is all the namespace topics with the subscriptions. You can create a namespace topic, and you can, inside of the namespace topic, you can create as many subscriptions you need. And you can create subscriptions now focus on push or focus on pull. We will see a demo later about how it works. And by other hand, we have the MQTT broker. And you may say, well, why you have MQTT broker? Event Grid is jumping into the IoT space. And what we want is to start having other scenarios, not only for eventing, but also for IoT devices. One thing that we would like to do here is to offer the same capabilities that we have in the past. For example, when you create a subscription, you can route or you can forward events to a function or service bus or an event hub, and you can create powerful streaming pipelines with, for example, with the event hubs. Now, one of the capabilities that we are offering also in MQTT, aside of the bidirectional communication, is the routing of the messages. Let's see more about MQTT later. Some of the features that or the sub resources that we have in MQTT are the topic spaces, where we have dynamic templates. We have clients where you are going to register devices. You can have 1 or million of devices. We can group those devices in client groups. We can add certificates for validation authorization. And we have permission bindings where we can identify the group as a publisher or consumer. In general, all these capabilities are part of the new standard tier. This is where Event Grid is evolving, and we are doing more things than a traditional event broker. We have now the flexible consumption, which push and pull. we have higher throughput, and this is something that you are going to see in a moment with another slide, where we are increasing the throughput, the ingress and egress rates. So in general, there was a standard for 5 megabytes per ingress and egress in Event Grid basic resources, but now we are increasing this to 40 megabytes per ingress and 80 megabytes per egress. So another important feature that we're introducing is the private link support for egress using pool delivery. What it means that in the past we received many questions about how can we consume or deliver events to a private destinations. So now we are enabling this capability using private link support in pool delivery. As I mentioned it before, for MQTT, we are supporting MQTT 3.1.1 version 5, and other MQTT capabilities that as the routing MQTT messages, the one that I mentioned it before, where you can imagine that you have a device and the device is sending messages to Event Grid, and Event Grid is replying those messages to the device. But aside of that bidirectional communication, you can take that message and route it to an additional a workload or a stream process that you have. So you can connect those messages to another functionality. And this is where the things come interesting. This is part of the evolution of Event Grid. You will see in this table that we have several features listed. For example, as I mentioned it, we have a huge increase on throughput. This is part of the improvement that we have been doing in the broker. We are supporting now the MQTT broker, pool delivery capabilities, publish. One thing that we did, and this is part of the things that we are introducing also, is push delivery. It means that the namespace will be supporting push and pull, but push delivery right now is just supporting event hubs in namespaces. In the future, we expect to support more destinations, but right now we are just sending events to event hubs. And another important aspect that you will see here is the retention that we are providing to the events in the broker. We are increasing from 1 day in basic to 7 days in a standard tier. So this is part of the improvement that we are doing. Another one, well, in general, what you will see below is all the features that we are providing in other services like system topic, custom topics, domains, and partner topics that you may be familiarized. Let's talk about push and pull. This is interesting. We announced in Ignite that pool delivery is general available. Right now, we are offering capabilities to pull with HTTP. You can control your own event states on demand. We will see a demo in a moment about what is this. And one thing that is interesting for these scenarios is that you can control those states, and you can, as I mentioned it before, we can provide consumption from private destinations. What are the event states? The event states are the states that will allow us to manage the event once the consumer pick the message. Imagine that I successfully process the message. Well, I'm going to acknowledge the message. If I have any problem with the consumer and I need to return, I need to reprocess this event, we can return the event to the queue or to the process, to the subscription, and it's going to be picked again by other consumer. And if we don't want that the event will be processed again, we can reject the message. And this is interesting because one thing that you may be asking is, okay, you are talking me about event driven, but you are talking me about events, but now you're talking about queuing. This is interesting. We are not planning to compete at some point with service bus. What we are doing is we are offering more capabilities in an event broker. At the end of the day, what you are looking here are discrete events. So this is important where you, as if you are building an application that you need to consume discrete events, you can use these new capabilities. Another feature that we launched and is currently public preview is the push delivery to event hubs. What we are doing with push delivery to event hubs is that we allow, as you may use it before, we allow to send events directly from Event Grid to event hubs, providing the traditional capabilities that we had before, like filtering, delivery retry, that lettering. But there's one interesting feature that we introduced this time, that is the support for binary mode. We have been using in the past cloud events, but now that we have fully to support for cloud events, we are now supporting binary mode. This allows to publishers to send messages or events without modifying the message body. We can set whatever we want to send in binary. And this is part of the interesting approach that we are taking in order to allow publishers to send events to Event Grid. You have heard about these features. As you see, there are many things that have been changing in Event Grid. We are evolving, and one thing that you may ask, well, I'm interested to use Event Grid namespace, but I don't want to create or change my current workload. Well, what you can do is you can use this feature. This is a destination in Event Grid Basic, where you can take the messages and you can route directly to a particular namespace. So you can create a subscription, and with this subscription, you can create a particular Event Grid destination with a namespace topic, and you can forward all the events to this namespace. This will allows you to start using and migrating gradually all the workflows that you have, and you can start using pull delivery capabilities without modifying your current architecture. Let's see a demo about this. What I have here, let me show you. Let me show you. What I have here is a namespace. This is the resource that I previously created. In general, the namespace has some particular resources. Let me refresh the website. Okay. And what you will see here, I have my namespace. My namespace was created. I already created the namespace. I have my topics, and I have the MQTT broker features. At this point, I go into eventing. I select the topics. I can select the topic that I previously created. This is a topic for custom events. And now that I'm in the topic, I can create a new subscription. A difference of the previous Event Grid resources, we can select the kind of delivery mode that we want to use. We can use queue, or we can use push. In this scenario, we are using queue and push. And what you are looking here in the subscriptions is that I have one subscription for each one of the scenarios. Now, what you are going to see in this scenario? What I'm covering is, imagine that we have a publisher, and this publisher is sending messages to an Event Grid namespace. This Event Grid namespace has a push subscription to event hubs, and at the same time has a pull subscription to let a consumer to start pulling from Event Grid. We have two different scenarios covered in one single workflow. And with this scenario that I'm showing here, now we can go directly to an application. I can show you this application. Give me just 1 second. It's here. And this application that you are looking here is going to start sending events to Event Grid. What I'm doing here is that I'm start sending events to Event Grid, and I'm going to start consuming those events from different scenarios. If you see in the left side, we have the push subscriptions that are landing in the client using push delivery, but in the right side we have pull delivery with each one of the states. What I'm doing here is that I'm coloring each one of the states, and you will see how the event is received, is acknowledged, or is released and is returned to the broker, or is rejected and is disposed. This is one of the scenarios that you can see how now with one single resource we can do both kind of messaging patterns, and we can have more retention capabilities and ingress and egress rates. Okay. Let's go with MQTT. With MQTT, Azure Event Grid MQTT is one of the new and major features in Event Grid namespaces. What we are offering now is the possibility to integrate applications with this new protocol in Event Grid. It's not new, but what we are doing is we are offering custom topics. That is the possibility to use templates. We can use templates. We can use multiple messaging models. We can do one-to-one, device to device, one to many. We have many to one, and we can use different services for routing at some point. Let me show you some of the scenarios that I'm referring. One of the first one that you are looking here, imagine that we have several devices, and those devices are sending information to Event Grid. Those messages are landing to Event Grid, and Event Grid is taking those messages and is using a topic template that is a template that we're using here in the custom topic. In the topic, we can put this wildcard, and with this wildcard, we can send all the device info telemetry to one single application. This is one scenario that we have. And the other scenario that we have here is how can we control using one-to-one, that is more like a bidirectional communication between one application to Event Grid. We can respond using MQTT, and at the same time, Event Grid can send this communication to another device and receive information from the device. This is part of the interactions. Another scenarios that we are covering here is the possibility to let one application, one cloud applications to start sending information. Imagine that we have this particular scenario where we have alerts for failure in a particular area, and we are sending this information to Event Grid, and we can segregate that into a particular devices. So if we have information that is produced by one application, we can send that information to multiple devices by specifying the wildcard in the definition of the topic template. And if we want to use MQTT broker and connect the MQTT broker with the capabilities of Event Grid itself, the nature of Event Grid, we can do messaging routing. That it means that we can receive messages from devices, and we can take a copy from that message and send it to a particular topic and connect the topic with another resources using the subscriptions. We can do push, we can do pull, and we can use other kind of resources like you are looking here. These scenarios that you are looking here is because we are supporting namespace topic, and we are supporting custom topic from Event Grid basic tier. So in general, what we have been doing, we have been we announced in November the general availability of MQTT. We have new ingress and egress throughput, the routing to namespace topic, and for namespace topics we have several improvements like the pull delivery, ingress and egress throughput. We have private link support. We have 7-day retention. We have the public preview of new capabilities like cloud events, binary mode, push subscriptions to event hubs, and the namespace topic as a destination for all the Event Grid basic resources like custom system and partner topics. This is part of the new capabilities. And to finish, we have also one of the most important integrations in system topics, that is Azure Resource Notifications. We are introducing or we are onboarded a new system topic. If you are aware about what is a system topic is one of the resources that that Event Grid has to consume and subscribe to event or system events notifications from other resources. We have Azure Resource Notifications, where we are receiving information from the Azure resources. Imagine that you have a virtual machine, and you need to have a particular complete information about the payload, and so you can subscribe and filter and have a more accurate information about what is happening in the virtual machine. So this is part of the new onboarded services that we have in Event Grid. If you go to system topics, you can create a new system topic with this kind of source. And Well, thank you for the invite. I would like to let hear the survey. If you have any questions, please let us know. I will appreciate if you can fill the survey. Part of all these features is because we are building products for you, and we would like to hear from you. What do you think about this? If there's any particular interest, we are open to hear more. And Wagner, thank you. Please
You're
go ahead.
welcome. You're welcome. Just like in looking at some of the questions that we have here again, Christina and Javier were super uh, uh, active on the chat, right? So I don't think there is any questions that not being answered. But I think it's like just for you to give your view on that as well. One of the questions from, or actually a comment from Eitaha was that he thought that the EG key differentiator was the push consumption model. And I think you touched that a little bit during the presentation, but just to add a bit more on that, feel free to add your comments on this.
Yeah, for push delivery to event hubs is what you mean? In
Yes.
in general, what we are doing is that eventually we want to bring all the destinations that we have, or at least the majority of the destinations that we have in Event Grid basic resources. Uh, but one thing that we would like to do is prioritize. At this moment, what we prioritize is event hubs. We believe that there's a lot of potential by aggregating adding event hubs to the destination. In the future, we will be adding more and more. The only advantage that you will take having this push delivery to event hubs at the difference from the previous one that we have in event grid basic is that we are offering higher ingress and egress rates. With this
Mm-hmm.
event is able to manage more throughput in the process.
Yeah, and I think that was also a comment in relation to introducing the pool model as well. As you said, it's not a competition with Service Bus, it's actually for a different set of scenarios.
Yes, correct, correct. It's
Hmm.
a different set of scenarios, and what we wanted to offer is an event broker with more capabilities than a traditional event broker.
Cool. And just a shout out for private links egress, like people would really enjoy that.